Welcome to Talk to Him, a weekly podcast where we discuss self-help strategies, pop culture, music, education, fashion, relationships, and how it all links to financial success. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Talk to Him J. And of course, I'm your host. My name is James Levette. Talk to him. Let's vibe with me. All right. Listen, this is a very special show. We have some very special guests here with us, joining us today via Zoom. Of course, this is the beginning of Ramadan, and as you can see, I'm on my Abu Dhabi, my flying and stuff right now, dressed for the occasion. We have some special guests joining us today via Zoom, Miss Heba Osman, okay, and Nader Tashira. I hope I say your name correctly.
You got it. You got it.
All right, cool. And it's so interesting, man, because we are all on different time zones right now. All of it. You guys, can you share where y'all located at right now?
Yeah, I'm in Seoul right now. It's 7:00 in the morning. Yeah, so it's a bit early.
Yeah,
it's cool. I'm here. Yeah,
right.
it's nice.
What's up, Heba? Where you at?
Alberta, Canada.
Oh man! And of course, we're in Boston, Massachusetts. You know what I mean? We're in Boston, so it's good to be here. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa salam.
Wallahi. I know that's all right. Y'all can.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, it's a solid start. You got it. It's good.
I respect that.
So, with the beginning of Ramadan, I wanted to, just get a better understanding of Islamic faith. I have a lot of friends whose Islam, who practice Islam, and as I continue to, deepen my understanding into, God, I wanted to just get a better understanding of Islamic faith. So, can you guys just give people who's out there just an explanation of what is Ramadan? What is Ramadan, and like from you guys' perspective, what is Ramadan?
Nader, you want to start? I'll finish it off.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. All right. So Ramadan is the month that the Quran was sent down to the Prophet, peace be upon him. And because it's such a holy month, and that's when the Quran was revealed, every month we do fast 30 days, right? From sunrise to sunset. And it's actually one of the five pillars of Islam. So it's one of the five standing pillars of Islam. It's one of the most important things that we practice. So that's what it actually is from, I guess, from a textbook standpoint. But from like a personal standpoint, it's a chance to re-cleanse, right? It's just kind of like a reset button in terms of faith and your belief, right? Like the whole year you're just going around and sometimes you make mistakes, you fall into sin, your faith isn't too high and anything like that. And it goes up and down, it fluctuates just with everybody. No matter how strong of a religious person you are, your faith will always fluctuate. So Ramadan is kind of like a reset button, it's a re-cleanse button, and there's a lot of chance for forgiveness. It's a good chance to kind of reconnect with people in your community, people in your mosques. And I think it's just a great time of year. I know a lot of people think it's just, oh, you can't eat, you can't drink. Oh my God, that must suck. But it's just more than that. It's actually spiritually, it's very cleansing and awakening as well.
Yeah. Heba, go ahead, continue on, Heba, if you want to add towards that.
Of course, I always have something to add.
Yeah.
Well, for starters, that's what Nader said is true. When people, Muslims and non-Muslims, when they look at the word Ramadan, what they think of it is, oh, it's the month that people don't fast. The people don't eat, they're just fasting, which is true. But in actuality, the purpose of not fasting, the purpose of fasting and not eating is to humble ourselves as humans, to understand what other people are going through, to get closer to God spiritually, get closer to God with everything within you do in that year, good sins, bad sins, that with the good sins in that holy month of ours is to strengthen it, make it stronger. You know what I mean? And then with the bad is, since in the month of Ramadan, the gates of hell is closed. So there's no, what we would say shaitans, which would be like devils, you know. They're not out here where they're trying to, you know, sway us in doing sinful things, right? So now that they're all locked up, it's gonna be easier for us to have self-discipline on not doing breaking all the big sins and the small sins that we do on our daily lives, right? So this month is not only to fast and not eat, but also to spiritually, in a sense where we're gonna build our strength in all our good sins, right? And then the bad ones that we do throughout the year to break that habit. So that's what he meant when he said it's a cleanse. You know, we're starting all over again, right?
Yeah, and you mentioned the 5 pillars, Nader. Can you like explain that? Because I don't really know, you know.
Yeah,
what.
no problem.
Yeah.
So in Islam, there are 5 basic principles, 5 pillars of Islam that you need to follow. So the first one is the belief of one God, right? It's a belief of one God, and that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is his messenger, right? The second one is to pray 5 times a day. We do have 5 prayers. The one is right before sunrise, and then after you have one in the afternoon, one in the late afternoon, one when the sun's coming down, and one in the nighttime. So you have that every single day. So to pray 5 times a day. Another one is to pay charity, right? So you do have to pay charity out of what you own. There's a certain amount, and it gets a bit complicated, but paying charity. The fourth one is to make pilgrimage, right? So you do have to go to Mecca, and there's a thing called Hajj, right? So you have to do that at least one time in your life if you're able to. And then the last one is fasting during the month of Ramadan.
Oh man, you just broke that down to me in the science.
Yeah.
I ain't even know none of that, man. Yo, big shout out to my brother Basil. That's like my best friend, man. And he's Muslim. I mean he practiced Islamic faith, and he's just, say it again. Say it again.
Mashallah. Like
I've always like, what does that mean? Like, what is that?
As God's willed. It's kind of like as God willed. Like if something, you see something good, it's like, okay, this is what God has willed. Like, you know, it's kind of like a praise kind of, you know, you're just like, oh, like this is what God has willed.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, you know, people use certain things, but I want to be known like if they know what those things means. You know what I mean? So me, before I start using anything, you know, before it's like the coolest thing to do, I'll be like, yo, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Because I don't want to disrespect it in any type of way. You know what I mean?
For sure. I hear it for sure. I respect it too, man. A lot of people, like you said, they say it aimlessly, but the fact that you actually want to learn what it means before you say it, it's, you know, it's admirable.
Very important.
Yeah. And also it's like people don't really understand like how like it's not an easy thing to fast, you know what I mean? Because our bodies is so like used to like eating at a certain time and, you know, doing the things that we usually do. Because, you know, like I've done like 3-day fast, and I just done like water, you know what I mean? Like my goal is really, you know, the goal is actually to really do like a 7-day, you know, fast with just straight water. But the most that I've done is like 3 days. Every now and then I'll do, you know, every Wednesday I'll do like a day fast, and that's tough too. You know what I mean? So like, tell us like, how do you guys, you know, from sun up to sundown, you guys can't drink no water, nothing at all?
No food.
No food?
No food or water.
No food or water?
Nothing.
Yeah, no food or water. Yeah, nothing.
But you know what they say? They say in the first week, well, everybody is different, but from my experience, the first week is the you know, it's a little shaky, you know, because your body is getting into the groove of, okay, she's not eating at this time. But after that, honestly, it's a habit at the end of the day, right? So your body gets used to it, mentally you become used to it, and it's actually not harder, and then it becomes fulfilling. At a point, you're actually very fulfilled, and it's just like you enjoy it. So it's not so much of something that's like, oh my God, I'm laying on my bed and I'm dying. It is hard in the
Right.
beginning for some people, right? But
Yeah.
as you get in the groove of things, it does become easier and it's more fulfilling for
Okay.
me. Right?
Yeah. What about you, Nader? How do you
Yeah.
put up with that? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't actually eat at certain times on a regular day. So like sometimes my diet is like really, really messed up. Sometimes I'll just have like one meal a day and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And like me approaching Ramadan, what I do is I kind of like try and slow down on eating and slow down on drinking just because I know it's gonna come. So like it's a little bit easier on my body.
Yeah.
And plus I've been doing this for my whole life. So like I'm used to it at this point. But like he even said, like the first week or so is definitely the hardest, especially with no water. Like now we're getting into warmer months and it can be a struggle sometimes. I know it was
Yeah.
a lot easier in the winter time when I was a little kid because the winter time is cold, it's not as hot, and the days are shorter. So it
Right.
gets a lot easier. But like I said, like you just kind of have to keep in mind like when Ramadan's coming up, like okay, cool, Ramadan's coming up, I probably should slow down with eating and just kind of train your body. Once you train your body to fast, it becomes a mind over matter thing. And that's kind of like the whole thing with fasting as well. I kind of wanted to mention it earlier, I forgot, but with fasting, if you can abstain from like something that you're so used to on a daily life, then you can abstain from things that you're not supposed to be doing, right? Like, like day-to-day sin and whatnot, right? So and it'll just increase your good deeds and stuff like that. So that's another reason. It's like it's all mind over matter, honestly. If I
I
could
was
summarize
gonna
everything I
say
just said,
that.
it's minds over matter. Yeah.
I was gonna say that it's all mental at the end of the day. If you're
Yeah.
spiritually really in it and you're going all in, it's easier. You don't even think of food. You don't even think of, and honestly, most of the time when people do break their fast, it's not what you think. We're not going in and just eating a whole. That's not how it really is. You
Yeah.
hardly eat when you're
Yeah.
breaking your fast. You know what I mean? Because your body got used to it. You know what I mean? And you're mentally, you're just so fulfilled that it's like food is not important. It is for your body. But I mean, like, in a sense, we're like, oh, why do I have to fast? You know what I mean? It's greater than saying like, oh, why do I have to fast? It's more important to us to say, no, fasting is worth it because you're just so fulfilled. Because so everything is meant. You have to mentally prepare yourself and be in it. Once you're really in it and not half passing it, it's honestly easy. It's not a hard time.
Yo, let me ask you this, how do Muslims practice their faith? Like how is it that they give us an example of like how do Muslim practice their faith? Okay, there's Ramadan, but what's other examples of that?
5 pillars of Islam, like what he said earlier. That's the core of Islam.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you do those things and you're already practicing the religion the way that you're supposed to be practicing it. Of course, we're humans, right? Yeah. People make mistakes. People sin differently, right? But as long as you do those 5 core things that are very important in our religion, then those things are just sins that you get from God. But it does not stop you from being a Muslim.
Okay.
Right? So those things is between you and God. And then as long as you always repent to God, you're good to go. But if you pray 5 times a day, and then you, in your heart, your intentions is there's only one God, right? And the Prophet ﷺ, and he's our prophet. And then you do your zakat, which is charity. And charity is not just paying money. Charity is you could walk down the street and just smile to somebody. That's charity. Helping an elderly person walk down the street, that's charity. Charity is in so many different forms that it's supposed to be engraved in us on a daily basis as a Muslim, right? So that, and like the 5 pillars that Nader said, right? That's what makes you a Muslim, and that's what makes you a practicing Muslim.
So let me ask you this, right? What's the difference between like forgive me if I said this the incorrect way, right? A Sunni Muslim?
You're going in.
No, I was trying to do some research.
Come on, brother. You have to know, yes.
Between like a Sunni Muslim and then like a Shiite? Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, close. Good enough.
How do you say it?
Shia.
Shiite. Okay, okay. So what's the difference? What's like the difference?
Well, we're Muslims.
Right?
And then we do believe the core values. There's only one God. Prophet Muhammad is our prophet. And then just more so historically down the road, the stories are not aligned.
Okay.
But when it comes to the core value of what a Muslim is, we share the same.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Nader wants to add to that, but the gist
No,
of it is
yeah,
we're Muslims at the end of the day.
yeah, no, she got it pretty much spot on right there. So it's just you coming down after you know, the story after the prophet, peace be upon him. Story changes a little bit, and then the beliefs get a little bit I guess changed. I don't know, changed. They're just a little bit different. I haven't really studied how she has practiced too much, so I can't really speak too much on it. I don't want to, step out of my lane. So
Yeah.
I don't like. But I know it's just there's there's differences of opinion with certain things, but like she said, at the core of it, we're still Muslims. We believe in the oneness of God, and that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was his messenger. And
So you guys have mentioned like the Prophet Muhammad, right? So in like I would say for me, Christianity is like my base. You know what I mean? I've been to the mosque, you know what I mean? I prayed. A couple of brothers like have invited me to, just worship with them, you know what I mean? Come in there. And I love the ritual. You come in, you wash your hands, you wash your feet, you go in there, you're clean. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was totally like different. It was a different vibe.
Cleanse.
Yeah, it was real
Feels
cleansing.
like a cleanse. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we believe in Christianity, they talk about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the Prophet Muhammad, right? Is that like the Jesus for, Muslims, or like just break that down, please? Like, give me a little bit of.
Perfect. He would mind if I start this one, and after you could just add on?
Yeah.
All right, great. So
Perfect.
perfect. So yeah, all right. So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So he's the last prophet, right? So we believe that he's the last prophet of God, and he was here to give us the Quran, right? So the Quran was revealed to him, and he was one that told us how to, just become Muslims, how to be Muslims, how to kind of carry ourselves, how to conduct in certain manners. There's a lot of different things. There's a practice called wow, I forgot. It's something sunnah. There you go. Sorry. Wow, I forgot. I don't know why I forgot that word. Sunnah.
Yeah.
So sunnah means as the prophet used to do it, right? And there's certain things that the prophet used to do, and if you do them, it keeps you in good faith, right? So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was an example on how to be the perfect Muslim, right? So we can look at his life and we can see how things kind of played out, like his trials and tribulations, his personal life, things of that sort, and we learn from them. So we kind of apply them to this day. So he was just an example on how to practice your faith. So he was the perfect Muslim.
That's deep. Hiba, you wanted to add something towards that, or?
Not about the Prophet Muhammad because Nader got it, but just when it comes to Jesus, is that Jesus is a prophet to us.
Right. Yeah.
So
really?
Sorry?
Yeah. So I didn't know, because I know like certain Muslims, they do read the Bible. You know what I mean? They know the Bible. You know what I mean? So we're saying Jesus is a prophet too.
One of our prophets, yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, continue on. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just wanted to just say, because you said, is he at the level of Jesus? So what I want to say is Jesus is one of our prophets.
Okay.
It's just Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet.
Got
and is the only prophet that has brought the Quran to us from God.
Wow. You just
so that's just the difference between, they're both prophets, but the difference between the two prophets.
Well, right now we're going into our quiz. All right, this is going to be our quiz. All right, and listen, this is
don't go too hard on us now.
No.
Oh, wow.
Too hard. All
I
right.
did not expect the quiz. All right.
Me too. I don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah. So,
come on.
Can you name 3 hip hop artists that are of Islamic faith? Oh,
I can name like 10.
yeah, well, give me one.
Hey, listen, we know our peoples.
Yeah, she's right.
Akon. Whoa.
Akon, okay, that's one of them. We got Akon, okay. Say it again.
Busta, I think Busta Rhymes said that he was
Yes,
Muslim
he
as
is.
well.
Yes, he is. Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
Busta Rhymes.
Kevin Gates.
Kevin
French
Gates.
Montana.
Okay.
French Montana. Yeah, Nader. French Montana.
Yeah, French Montana.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was three. Time out. That was three. It was just three.
DJ Khaled, is he Muslim? DJ Khaled?
Yeah, he is. He's Palestinian.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is. They and then David East or Dave East.
Dave East. Yeah.
No, we could keep going. That's the easy one.
I don't know about Dave East, but I think
no, he is. He is. No, he is. He is. He is.
Okay, nice. I didn't know.
He is.
Wow. Okay, y'all got that was an easy one. Okay, that was a really easy one. All right. So let me. All right. Let's get back to this. Right. And this question is directed towards like Heba. You know what I mean? Why do Muslim women? Why do they keep themselves covered up?
Oh, that's a big one. To humble ourselves. That's number one.
Yeah.
Being modest is not just wearing a hijab and not just covering ourselves, but also how we interact with individuals, how we are in the outside world, even within our homes, right? So the word hijab isn't a woman covering herself.
Okay.
It embodies everything, how she talks, her mannerism, her character, how she holds herself, you know what I mean? So it's such a big topic, but when it comes down to it, it's just how we hold ourselves together. So from the outside, what we look like, and then from the inside.
I love that.
All in all modesty.
You better tell them.
Trust it. Trust the edge. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to kind of add on to that a little bit. So it's the modesty, the covering up of the modesty. It's not only Islam. If you look, and I know like a lot of different religions have it as well, but like if you look at the three main monotheistic religions, the ones that believe in one God, like Christianity and Judaism, you can also look and they see that their women are also covered up as well. But I think it's more, I guess there's more media attention on women who are Muslim, who cover up, who have the hijab and stuff like that. But if you look at it like nuns and I know Jewish women as well, they cover up as like, so it's like all across the Abrahamic religions. So it's a very common thing.
Part. The three religions are very similar though. That's the thing, right? Is that the core value when it comes to their women's is to be modest in all three religions, right? Just with time, things kind of switched up a little bit, but the core values of these three religions is based on that.
So how does like Islam differ from Judaism and Christianity? How does it differ? Like, how is it different?
So some of our like prophets are actually Jews. Like for example, Moses. So we call him Musa, right? Musa alayhi salam. He's actually a Jewish people. He was one of the people of that faith, right? And it does change over time, and I think that's where Islam comes in at the end, because the religion did come down and it did change over time with like a lot of people, and I guess the message got changed. So the Quran was like, no, this is the final one, right? So there are like a lot of the religions, we do believe a lot of the same things. If you do, and this is why a lot of Muslims do read the Bible, just to kind of see the similarities into it, right? And also the Torah as well, right? There are mentions of the Bible and there are mentions of the Torah in the Quran. They do talk about it. It's the Arabic name of it, right? So it might not say actual Bible or anything like that. It's called the Ishbia in the Torah, right? But yeah, so they do have mentions of it and they are very similar. It's just that there are small changes. So that's the Quran came just to kind of set it all. This is what Islam is. It's very similar to the other religions, but these are the changes that may have been lost in time or may have been changed or anything like that. So that's pretty much why they're so similar.
Right now we're gonna go. That was a great breakdown because I always wanted to know, just the differences, in in these religions.
I would
Because
like to add one thing before you move on, though.
go ahead.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So I would like to say between the three, we are very similar in a sense where we do believe in one God. We do believe in the afterlife, heaven and hellfire. But one very important thing that's between the three that are not, we have completely different opinions on, and we don't believe, we have different beliefs in it, is when it comes to Jesus. So Christianity believes that Jesus is a God, right? The Son of God, right?
Right.
Muslims believe that he's a prophet. Judaism, they believe that he's neither, and he's just a person, right?
Right.
So that's just one very big difference,
Right.
because believing he's a God, believing he's a prophet, and believing that he's not, neither is just one very big difference. But outside of that, our similarities, our core values, what we believe are sins, what we will believe are good sins, are all very much similar. It's just when you look at the history and the storyline, that's what's different. But the core values are very the same.
That was deep. I didn't really know that. And one thing too, man, is like I've noticed that a lot of brothers, a lot of my brothers who when they get locked up, right? When they get locked up, it's almost like it's innate that sometimes they just pick up. All right, let's say this, right? They might have went in as a Christian, right? But then all of a sudden, they, when they get locked up or they're in, a different space where they're not really in, their interaction with human beings is limited. It's almost like they change their religion. You know what I mean? And even myself too, sometimes as I get to, this enlightenment stage, and because, like, I feel like there is one God, there's just different ways to get to him. You know what I'm saying? And, I was raised a Christian. So, I would say Christianity is my base, my foundation. But also, like, I like how like how my Muslim brothers, like how they get down and how they worship, how they pray 5 times a day. But like, that religion is mad strict, bro.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. From the outside looking in, it looks like everything is haram. That's the number one thing that everybody always says, right?
Haram is what? What's haram?
Haram is a sinful
Forbidden.
act, something you shouldn't do, forbidden.
Right, okay.
In religion, right?
Yeah.
But what is haram is something that's not good for you, for your mental, for your physical, so if you really look deeper into, just not in a surface level as just hear the word haram all the time and say everything is haram, and you actually take out the word, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I lost the word. But just really look deeper into why is it? You know what I mean? Why is it haram to go to the club? Why is it haram to listen to music? Why is it haram to do all these X, Y, Z? And if you actually understand the reason behind why certain things, because there's a reason to why X, Y, and Z is haram.
Right.
And the core of it all is it's not going to better you as a person.
That's true.
It's not going to further you spiritually, physically. It's not going to help you get to the next step of what it's all bad habits that's going to slowly wind you down to a path that you shouldn't be in.
That's true. Right? Yeah.
But once you're in it and you're not outside looking in, it's not hard at all. It's actually like you're at peace with life, and you understand why you're here, why you're in this life, and your day-to-day and things that you have to do with your friends, your family, your coworkers. It all comes, it's full circle. Once you're in the box, though, when you're out of the box, it's a little hard to get into the box because there's a lot of self-discipline, right? But once you're in it, it's not hard at all. It's very easy.
Oh man, that was good. We're gonna go into our sponsors
Let's
right
not be deep though.
now. We're gonna go into our sponsors right now. Big shout out to the good folks over at Shop Talk to 'em Apparel. Please, you already know. Please check them out at Shop Talk to 'em at Green to Clean LTD. All right, at Green to Clean Cleaning Services. Good folks over at Community Capital Gains. They help people with their getting their business funding and all these good things. Community Capital Gains, and their Instagram handle is at CCG Gains 2. And of course, Eats with Ree. All right. And of course, LEG. This show is sponsored by LEG. So let's get back. There's an interesting question that I wanted to ask. Right. Let's say, for example, all right, you meet an individual. You guys are vibing. It could be a nice, lovely young lady or a nice, handsome gentleman. Right. You guys are vibing, and they meet all the qualifications that you like in a person, in an individual, right? Except they are not of Islamic faith, right? Do you continue to date this person, or are you cutting them off? Nada, I want to hear your thoughts first on it.
So, all right, fair enough. Okay, so believe it or not, in the Quran, actually, males are allowed to actually marry women who are of the monotheistic religions. So Christians and Jew women, men can actually marry them. Islamic, Muslim men can marry Christians and Jews as well. But like Heba said, there's a reason for everything. So if you look back at the story and why that rule is allowed, you'll see what the reasoning is behind that, right? Yeah, I think if there has to be an understanding, and it's a very tricky line that you're playing with, right? Like you have to understand the rules behind that before you kind of dive into that lane. But yeah, if people understand it and you play by the rules, like what it's set out for you, me personally as a man, because I know it's allowed, I know it's halal, I would continue, right? But I know for women, it's a little bit trickier. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
you saw Heba's face. She was giving you that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say because he wasn't answering it. At the end, I was gonna say we're waiting for the answer.
Yeah,
what would
for
you
sure.
do?
No, it's permissible. So it's permissible for a man to do it. So I would do it, right? But there are rules around it, right? And as long as I'm meeting those rules, as long as I follow the criteria, I don't see a problem with it. It is allowed for a reason. Things may be difficult, to follow the rules, especially in nowadays and age, right? There might be some pull against it, even culturally, like your families and stuff like that. But culturally is a different, culture and religion are two completely different things, right? So I wouldn't want to mix the two, but from a religion standpoint, it's allowed. And as long as I follow the criteria, I don't see why not.
Okay. So what about from a woman's standpoint, Eva? What would you continue dating this person, or would you be like, I can't really rock out with you like that because, of my beliefs?
This is very white and black. The answer would be I would not.
You would not?
Very simple. No, I would not. Because then it goes against my beliefs, right?
Okay.
So if he was already a Muslim and he converted and he's practicing, no problem. But even if he's someone that's already on he's in his own journey where he's looking into the deen and practicing the deen and making his way into becoming a Muslim, then no problem. Go do your thing. When you're ready, come back. But to hold the relationship with someone and plan to get married with somebody, he would have to be Muslim. So there's no point on wasting nobody's time because my values and my very straightforward with me,
So this is all right, right? So Nate just said, yeah, it's okay for the man, right? It's all right, what I mean? But there's certain guidelines of it. But then is it just because, the man kind of leads, or is it just because of why is that? Why is there's or is it just your personal preference? You know what I mean? Kiva.
It's not a personal preference. It's like what Nader said earlier, is that there's a reason to everything, right? So a woman can't convert a man. A woman can't sway a man into moving into their religion and whatnot. And it kind of complicates things when there's kids involved and the faith gets in, things will just become messy, right? But with a man, it's his home, it's his household, right? So everything goes down to how a man is, it's his home, right? So as he has somebody who's not from the same religion, I don't want to go too much into it because I don't know too much in detail. I know it at a surface level,
right.
But it is easier for a man to maintain a situation like that if he's following the rules behind it.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Nate. Now, would you want your lady, I mean, the lady that you're interested in, let's say if she was not, would you want her to convert?
I would never ask someone to convert because I would never ask someone to convert for me because you're not converting for me. Like, for example, like, and I've seen it happen in the past, just with like, you know, friends and whatnot, even just on TV and whatnot, like celebrities and everything, that's right. But if someone converts for you, they don't really believe in the faith. Like there's no, like, you don't believe in the religion, you just believe in the person. And then after that, like, of course, after you pass the honeymoon stage and things kind of dwindle out, like what kind of happens there, right? Like things kind of get sour and it can get like, oh, I converted for you. And then it gets really, really like tricky in that sense. So I would never tell someone, oh, like, no, convert for me so we can get married. Nah, look, if you do that, that's on you. Like, you know what I mean? Like you focus on yourself. If you believe, but don't pretend to believe. And then after come and try and get married, like you actually have to believe by yourself because tomorrow, even what if I die in the middle of that marriage, right? Like what if I die a year in or something like that? Like you should still be believing because you converted for you, right?
Right.
But if you converted for me and I die, like does that mean you're gonna convert back? Like you're gonna change your belief again? Then that means it's just not strong. There's no really foundation on that in either sense, right? So I would never ask someone, oh, you have to convert for me. So that's I would never do that. That's just like one of the things that's like, yeah, her intention has to be like, look, I'm converting because I'm really interested in the religion, or I'm interested to know more. If that's the case, I would, you know, I would say, okay, cool, I could teach you, I can give you some resources, or I can guide you the right way. I can, you know, give you some good people to follow, or just some good scholars just to listen to. But it's in terms of me just actually flat out saying, no, convert for me so we can get married. Nah, I would never do that.
But 9 out of 10 times, I don't know if this is the exact, but usually when a man marries a woman who's not in the faith, with time, for her own reasoning, with her own intentions, she ends up converting, not because her man is telling her to, but it's the way of life, of how the household is, how he is, how his family is, the community that she's in, all of that. When she sees everything that comes with it as a whole, is they naturally want to improve themselves in their own way where they want to convert. So there's more people who did convert in a marriage, you know what I mean, than the ones that got married and stayed in the religion that they're in.
Yeah, and I really ask that because, you know, like if you're with somebody and you see how they're living and you see like, man, this person is pure and he's practicing his faith, you know, like I would think naturally you're like, yo, I may want to, I'm thinking about converting. I'm thinking about, because you're around it so much and you're like, yo, you seeing like the benefits of it and you seeing like how it just humbles you, and you know, the prayer and the just the discipline that comes with it. You're like, yo, I need that in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I may want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I may want to convert, but also, you know, like if I'm, you know, if it's a young lady and she's like, yo, this is somebody that I want to be with, and I'm trusting that person, that because, you know, he's connected with God, right? He's connected with God and he has this strong relationship with God. And I want to follow him, I want to follow him because I'm actually following God, right? If I believe. So why wouldn't, why wouldn't you want to?
It becomes natural. It becomes natural. And that's really just not just with faith, it's within anything, right?
Yeah.
If you see a situation that it's a good situation that you feel like it'll benefit you spiritually, mentally, physically, you would want to do it. If my friend's going to the gym every single day and I'm out here eating chips, and if I see her and it's in my face all the time that she's going, I would want to better myself and follow that, right? So I think it's just a way of life in human nature. When you see something good consistently, then it's something you want to just improve on. You want to be a part of that, right?
Absolutely. You know what time it is? Quiz time, folks. Quiz time. Right?
We just do a quiz.
All right, here we go.
Okay, let's go. Give it to us.
Who is the leader of the Nation of Islam?
Louis Farrakhan.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm giving y'all some easy jokes, man. I'm gonna give y'all a hard one. All right. You guys see the movie Harlem Nights? No?
Nah, I don't think so.
Harlem Nights was okay, so we can't use that one. All right. Let's say okay. What is the average size for a woman? What is the average shoe size for a woman, I should say?
Is it size, woman size or kid? Like, okay.
Woman size.
Is 6.5?
Yeah, brother. That's like ding, 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 ding.
Are you serious?
Oh, no way.
That's a 6. It's a 6. He said 6.
Wow.
7. Okay, Nader.
Nice. Nah, I used to. Yeah, I.
That was so. Let me ask you this, right?
For that one.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Oh God, who knows that question? Who knows that answer?
Did you work at Foot Locker?
Yeah, I used to work at Foot Locker.
Okay, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I used to work.
That's not fair.
I
Yeah.
I used to work at Foot Locker.
That wasn't fair. I was like, damn, he knows more about girls than I do. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So let's get back to this, right? Because a lot of times, if you just read the news or the headlines, you might just think that one of the main tenets of Islam is, terrorism. We hear about militant groups like Al Qaeda and ISIS committing acts of atrocity in the name of Allah. My question is, how can we change that narrative? How can we change that narrative? Because the average person who's not really, connected towards, Islam, they looking at the headlines, they're like, what are these people? What are they doing? They doing this in the name of Allah. My question is, how can we change that narrative?
All right. Eva, I'm just gonna jump in with this. Is that okay? I'm gonna start. All right. So, just do your own research. Honestly, that's the best thing. Cause and what's crazy is I heard a stat, which is so wild. I think that since obviously the biggest act of terrorism that's been like that kind of echoed the world was 9/11, right?
Yeah.
And that's of course like we don't like to kill one person. It even says in the Quran to kill one person as if you killed the whole mankind, right? So we don't believe in killing people, right? Like it's not we don't like that terrorism stuff is not Islam. Like you're not studying Islam literally means peace, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's extremism and that's a whole another thing. Like I can't because I don't research too much on what they do. Like I can't understand where it stems from or whatever, like how it came about. But just do your own research. And like I was saying, after that major attack on the world, the fastest growing religion in the world has been Islam. Even to today, it still has been. And the reason being is because people actually go out and do their own research. And once they realize what Islam is really about, they understand how much peace and how much tranquility it actually revolves around, right? And it's it's kind of, once you hear that headline, don't just take it for what it is, because the media can portray things. It can skew
Right.
things to however, like whatever agenda that they want to portray. So for example, I can say, and it's not just trying to take a shot or anything, but I'm just using this as an example, but like for Christianity, if the only exposure I ever had to Christianity was the KKK and them people burning crosses on fields and stuff like that, I would say, well, what is this religion? You know what I mean? I would, but if I were to just take it for like face value and just say, is that what it's all about? Is this what Christianity is? I would think sideways of Christianity. But if I were to go to do my own research, I would realize, you know what I mean, the roots of the KKK and whatnot, and realize that that's not Christianity at all, right?
Absolutely.
So that's it's pretty much the exact same thing. I think that just with Islam, it's kind of weird because it's happened in the middle of the information age, right? It's like all after 2000 where information is so widely available, and like internet has made headlines so accessible, and we're just getting bombarded with image left, right, and center. So it's whereas the KKK stuff like that has happened was like the civil rights movement back in the 60s and stuff like that. It was where you just get the newspaper and then you just read it, and I don't think that they would ever put the KKK stuff on the newspaper back then. They would never actually openly say, look, this is what happened on front page, right? So so when you do see something like that, just do your own research. That's honestly the biggest thing I can say. Just do your own research. Understand what Islam is really about. If you actually have curiosity as to what Islam is, pick up a Quran. There are many, many translations as to the Quran, and you can just kind of read it and just see what it's about. And it's good just to know, right?
Absolutely. No, I rock with that. Yeah, yeah. Hiba, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, I'll keep it short though. Ignorance is key, right? That's really what it comes down to. What's going to kill mankind is ignorance, you know? The media is what controls the world. And when I say that is because the scariest thing is somebody that's going to control your mind, right? So above all, war, all that stuff, the more powerful thing is controlling the mind. And that's where the media lies, right? So at the end of the day, ignorance, it's all ignorance at the end of the day. You Muslims are your neighbors, are your teachers,
right?
Are your best friends. You know what I mean? Like he said, Nader said, it's the most growing religion. So that means they're everywhere.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Every single human being who's not a Muslim knows a Muslim.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your friend, your best friend, your teacher, you just need to question yourself, ask yourself, is what I'm reading, is what I'm seeing, do I see that from these people that I know at day to day, right? So then just from that should be enough for you to pick up that phone and just do your own research, ask them questions, you know what I mean? Don't just be ignorant and just go off of just what the media tells you.
Yeah.
That's not a way of living, right? You have to know everything on your own. You have to do your own research.
That's true, man. The media definitely plays a big role, you know what I mean, in just how people receive their information, you know what I mean? Because they're like they're the media, they're in the middle, you know what I mean, of what information goes out and then the type of way that it goes out, you know what I mean? So that's a very
mind control, brother, mind control.
Mind control. And a lot of times
there's good in it, but this is mind control.
I agree. I definitely agree, man. We have like about like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes remaining, right? And you mentioned something about halal. What is like halal? Halal, what does that mean?
Halal is the opposite of haram. So haram means forbidden, halal means it's permissible. So when you see halal food, right? For example, when you see halal food, it's been slaughtered a certain way, right? There's certain guidelines as to how you slaughter the meat, and that's what makes it halal, right? You have to say a prayer over it, and then there's a certain way you have to do it. Like for example, for a sheep, I think you have to cover the eyes, you have to put the head in the direction of the prayer, and then you have to just, as you're cutting it, you have to just, and it's crazy, you'll see on YouTube, if you just say, oh, halal slaughtering, you'll see that the animal, once the process starts, you'll see the animal just kind of go to ease. Obviously they're dying, but like usually when like in a slaughterhouse, you'll see the animal fight for their life, but in halal, you'll see them just very calm, and it's very interesting to see. So that's for halal meat, but generally halal means permissible.
So the meat that we so every meat that we eat, hold on, because when I go inside of a store, I do see halal, right? And
Yeah.
I never really paid attention towards that. So it's like a certain type of meat. So the meat, is it like a better, is it like a better texture, or is it the
No,
meat just more?
it's just a more humane way of slaughtering the animal. And honestly, that's really how it is. Because you'll see if you look at documentaries on how animals are just how the meat industry and stuff like that, you'll just see them that they're just treated very rough and very, like just machinery that kills them, and it's very, I don't know, like I've seen some documentaries before on like how like slaughterhouses, and it's very rough, right? But if you look at halal, like how they slaughter halal is very humane. Well, in the sense of cutting, it's easier, it's softer for the animal. Like, you're kind
You
of
have more mercy on the animals.
exactly. You have more mercy on the animal. Sorry, I was just going in a circle over there trying to.
Oh,
find the
no,
right
no, no,
words.
you're
Thank
saying
you,
it right,
Diva.
but
Yeah, thank you. But that's what it is. So it's just a more sanitary way, a cleaner way of killing the animal as well, right?
Wow.
And so when you're eating the meat is very, it's fresher, right? Or it's killed in the right way. So you don't want to eat from a cow that's been shot, right, with like a bullet, right? So
Yeah, that's not good.
just for example, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you wouldn't want to, like, if they kill the cow with a bullet and then they feed you the meat, it'd be like, okay, what is this? But like if they slaughtered it and it's very like, there's a whole process to it, then you're probably more likely to eat from that meat, right? So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what it is.
Okay. No, that's a good one, because I like a lot of times people say when you eat meat, you're actually taking that energy of the meat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you think about it on a whole deeper level, um, if the meat is like dying, if the animal is dying in fear, so you actually, and you eat that, you actually, having fear, and you're scared, so you actually in digesting that fearness. So you're actually living in fear. Wow, that's pretty deep, man. I never really know that.
Yeah.
So would you suggest I mean, so do most stores like have halal meat, or?
It's very common, especially like in certain cities. Like I know for like Toronto, back at home, you can find halal everywhere. Like it's like not, you can not even be looking for halal. Yeah, you could every grocery store almost has halal. It's very, very widely available, and those, if you don't find it in a certain grocery store, you can find halal butcher shops. So it's very easily accessible, and I'm pretty sure Boston has a pretty solid Muslim community as well.
yeah.
You might be,
Yeah.
So you might be able to find some halal things.
I mean, for me now, no more.
Yeah.
Try it
for
out.
sure.
You might like it, brother.
Yeah.
Try it out.
No, I definitely will, man. You know what I mean? Like I never really.
I'll do your own research too, scientifically, in the science part of it and all of that. There's more to it, so it's something that you personally, you would enjoy. You would like reading on it, understanding it better, and something I could see you wanting to pursue.
Yo, man, thank you guys so much. I don't know if there's any final words that you guys want to say.
Yeah, you can go ahead first with your any final words if you have any.
Well, of
Do you have
course.
any?
No,
All right, go ahead. All right. So I actually have a question for you.
Yes,
Now
sir.
it's a quiz time for you. All right.
Yes, I like that.
All right, go on.
Okay. Can you name 5 African Muslim countries?
5 African Muslim countries.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And you shouldn't even be thinking about it this long.
You did.
Yeah.
I forgot. Sudan.
Okay, Sudan. All right, that's good.
Somalia.
All right.
And no one talk in the background.
Yeah.
Somalia.
Hey, let them do it.
Sudan, Somalia.
All right, that's 2.
Let me see.
All of Africa.
All of Africa, Sudan, Somalia.
Middle East, man. Come on.
Eritrea.
Eritrea. Okay, yeah. Eritrea is a good half. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, Eritrea. That's 3.
That's 3.
Hold on a second. Let me see.
Give
Give me a hint, man. Give me a hint.
Yeah, Nader,
Right,
you
North
give him a
Africa.
hint and I'll give him a hint.
Yeah, North Africa. Think of North Africa.
That's not a hint.
No, he's mean.
What is
That's the
that?
biggest hint.
Okay, do you know any Arab countries? Any?
I said,
You
I
said-
told you one earlier today.
which one?
Mor-
Morocco.
There you
Okay.
go, Morocco. That's 4. That's North Africa.
That's North Africa. Okay, Morocco and
Yeah.
give me another hint.
Okay.
All right. I'll give you one. All right, go ahead. You want to give a hint?
No. I know you're gonna give him a hard one though. That's the problem.
No, it won't be a hard one. It won't be a hard
Okay,
one.
go. Okay, go.
All right. This country has probably one of the most historical places in the world. Like, it has a wonder of the world in it. It's
Egypt.
connected to Asia. This is the country that connects Africa to Asia. There you go.
No, you gotta ask questions like, where do people get their teeth done?
Oh, yeah.
You gotta ask those type of questions.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is because it connects Africa to Asia. You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
Moses split the Red Sea here.
But he needs to know that. Okay.
Somebody says Mauritius. What's that?
Mauritius is one. Yeah, Mauritius is one. But I'm not gonna take that from you. I'm not gonna take.
Yo, you can't be reading the screen, brother. No reading the screen.
Moses split in the Red Sea.
Okay.
Moses split in the Red Sea is also in the Bible, isn't it? There you go, Egypt. Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
I didn't say that. I messed it up.
It's okay. We'll put you in the spot. We'll put you in the spot.
Yo, that was
cool.
Yeah, this was a very enlightening conversation. I'm so glad that big shout out to Dr. Ange, man. Really appreciate you. Just as we was just chatting, just he was like, "Yo, we should do this," and I was like, "Okay, let's rock out with that, man," because this just helped me with my knowledge. You know what I mean, and just. And hopefully people who's watching it and who get to watch this just be able to gain some insight on Ramadan and us of Islamic faith. So thank you guys so much, man, for taking the time out your day. And we'll be linking up. And once Ramadan is over, I know there's certain things we can't really do and stuff like that during Ramadan. So we could turn up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys so much. And before we leave, I always like to leave a quote. And it says, "It doesn't matter what you call yourself, you are what you practice, not what you believe." And that is from the great minister Louis Farrakhan. Live, love, light. I'll holler. Talk to him. Peace and blessings, y'all.